welcome Corey to rise.
Thank you. You are welcome to come visit anytime.
Okay.
So are all of you. We love Alaska and we love sharing it with others, but I heard some woo-woo when she said Iowa. So where are my fellow Iowans? Yes, it's a great place to grow up, right? I was one of those farm girls that I could not wait to go see the rest of the world. We've got the ULA guys, I think, over here, guys, so boom, 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 right? It's okay. But I couldn't wait to go see the rest of the world, so I married a military guy, and I got to see pretty much Texas, Oklahoma, and Alaska. It's enough of the world, right? Because he was Air Force. Kathy. Okay, I am so excited to be here with you today. Have you guys had a good convention? Yes, I love that you're still like alive enough to be able to give me a little woo! Because really we're starting to be a little kind of, right? We can take off the shoes, it's totally okay. Thank you for sticking around until the end of the last day because it takes a lot of strength and commitment to do that. I am so proud of you guys for being here. Just a little bit more about my husband and myself. Like was mentioned, I am an Iowa farm girl. Super proud of my roots. Miss being there tremendously. My baby sister's actually here today in the crowd. Grew up with her on a lovely little farm with a yellow house that I miss very dearly. But I learned the importance, as she mentioned, at a very early age of knowing your farmer. My dad didn't grow everything organically and all of that kind of stuff, but I knew where a lot of my food came from. A lot of our fruits and vegetables came from our gardens. We would often have chickens and the eggs from those and things like that. And so I don't think I realized what a gift I had, right? That happens like that so many times. We don't realize how good we had it until we move on and we don't have that anymore. And we've got to shop at the grocery store or whatnot, correct? I am so thankful for that growing up experience. I am also thankful for the fact that when I was still fairly young, my mom actually befriended a master herbalist, and I began to learn about herbs and homeopathies and all those types of natural remedies. And instead of going out and doing all the things that most normal high schoolers do, can you guys hear me okay? I see some of you making faces like, ooh, it's fun. They're making it more fun for us. I actually went and took herb classes on Friday and Saturday nights. I was pretty wild child, yeah. So then I went on to meet my husband, Gordon. Gordon, where are you? Okay, thank you. I like to know where you're at when I'm up here. At the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Do we have any Huskers? No? You guys, in the last class, we were able to do like the Go Big Red, Go Big Red. It was super fun. Totally a bucket list item got checked off for me. But anyways, we met at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln playing flag football because as you can tell by my build, I am an athlete. Not at all. But I did go play flag football, and I got one turn at quarterback. Some of you have heard this story before. And as I was laying on the ground trying to think about getting up, I looked up and saw my future husband for the first time. And the words that came out of his mouth were to his friend Curtis. And he said, "We need to find someone who can run." And somehow I ended up marrying him. I don't know how that happened. But you guys, he has been here every time I have spoken. He is my biggest supporter. I love him so dearly. We moved around for 15 years with the Air Force, as I mentioned, and saw not so much of the world, but enough, and made some incredible friends. And we are so thankful for where we are today, to be working at home together. Now, she did mention we have a few kids. This past year in our home, we had, and we are homeschoolers, woohoo! All the oils, right? We had a high schooler, a middle schooler, a grade schooler, a kindergartner, a preschooler, and a newborn in our house this past year. Yes, I survived. Thank you very much. We survived, but we're so grateful for the opportunity that we have to be home, for the tools that we have to take care of our family, and to be here today. Now, I have been really, really strange my whole life. I'm so thankful that we do not actually live in an igloo, which, believe it or not, people will ask. They do. They ask that when they find out we live in Alaska. So it does get pretty dark and it does get pretty cold, but it's not dark and cold all the time. And it does get pretty light, but it's not light all the time. Right now, you have to be super crazy to leave Alaska because we're getting the most daylight we get all year, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So you guys should really come on up and enjoy it with us. But we love living there. We live in a beautiful home on a pond. We're outdoors all the time, and we are so grateful. So I'm not so strange that I live in an igloo, but I have always gone against the grain. Anybody else? Yes, I was that supernatural hippie before it was cool, according to my friend Sarah, girl in high school that when one of my friends would say, I have a headache, and we'd be in our little cheerleading skirts, I have a headache, and I would say, well, have you pooped today? Right? Which I just realized when I said this, I spoke right over here last session. And as I was saying it, I was like, wow, maybe that's why I didn't have a lot of friends in high school. Because they were like, don't talk to her, she is so weird. And I was, but that's okay, because I eventually found my tribe with you guys, with Young Living. So fellow strange Oilers, hippies, whatever you want to call us, unite. I'm so thrilled to be here. Now, I do need to read to you a little required disclaimer. Opinions expressed in this presentation are solely my own and do not express the views or opinions of Young Living. Young Living does not endorse, is not responsible for, and makes no representations or warranties regarding such content or its accuracy. I encourage you to verify the explanations and opinions presented. Young Living shall not be liable for any harm resulting from or in connection with or reliance on any such content. So, guys, I'm popping lozenges. I've had a cough for several weeks that I've been able to get through these okay, except I just spoke. So now I'm struggling a little bit. So I hope that's okay and doesn't bother you guys. The main message here is I'm just a mom and a fellow Oiler. So I hope that what I have to say helps you, but please don't just take my word for it. Go home and get in your reference books, get online, whatever you need to do, and make sure that I'm right. Okay? It's okay if you find different answers for yourself because we all have a different journey. Now mine, as I mentioned earlier, I went into marriage and raising children having a little bit of a background in what it meant to use natural therapies and things like that. I thought I knew exactly what I needed to know to be a mom. Isn't that funny how we think we know what we need to know before we know that we don't know what we need to know? But I thought I knew everything I needed to know, and we had our first child, and she was super healthy, and things just went smoothly, and things were cruising along, and then along came child number 2. Now, child number 2 was absolutely precious. The thing was, he needed a lot of additional extra support in some really key areas, like his digestive system, his lymphatic system, his liver, things like that. And I found that I was, believe it or not, I thought I'd known it all, pretty lacking in some key areas. And everything that I thought I knew, I tried it all. I thought I tried it all. And we were still really struggling. More than anything, I was afraid. I felt inadequate. I felt guilty because there were some huge gaps in my ability to care for my son the way that he needed to be cared for. So while we were living in Enid, Oklahoma, I was at a homeschool group. Yep, woohoo! We love Oklahoma too. Love Oklahoma too. Yes, you can cheer for Oklahoma. I would go back. My husband, not so much. Probably because he worked really hard while we were there, but that's okay. I was at a homeschool group with a friend of mine. We ran a Whole Foods buying club at the time, and she was sitting across from me, and we were visiting, and she pulls out this stuff and starts putting it on her hands. Now, I was pregnant with my third child at the time, and every smell, taste, anything made me sick. I could hardly stand it. And she pulled this stuff out, and I said, wait a second, what is that? What is that smell? And she said, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. This probably smells way too strong for you. This is Steve's hand purifier. I will put it away. It's just my hand purifier. It's got oils and stuff in it. But I didn't even think about how it would probably bother you. I'll put it in my purse, and I said, don't you dare. That's the first thing I've smelled in weeks that I love the smell of. It's not making me sick, and I want it. So I went home with her little bottle of Thieves' Hand Purifier. A few weeks later, she invited me, actually this was several months later, she invited me to an Oils of Ancient Scripture class in her home. How many of you love the Oils of Ancient Scripture set? Okay, I didn't. I didn't so much at first. I thought they smelled so weird, and I totally did not get it at all. I sat there with a teething, fussy baby. I didn't understand why we were passing these stinky bottles around. I already had made up my opinion about essential oils anyways because I had tried them and found them lacking. You want to guess why? You guys are giving all the right answers. I had purchased them from grocery store shelves. I had no idea that bottles could be labeled 100% pure, organic, or lavender and not even have lavender in the bottle. What is up with that? I thought I hated lavender essential oil. I thought it stunk because I didn't realize that there wasn't actually lavender in the lavender bottle. Silly me to assume that. And I had gotten chemical burns from the different ones I had tried. I had just either tucked them away in cabinets or thrown them away. I was done. So I just went back home from that oils class with my Thieves' Hand Purifier, totally content. Until we went on to spend a few months in Little Rock, Arkansas, where my son's needs for additional support that I had not been able to provide became much more apparent. And so I, having tried everything I knew to try, looked at the little dusty bottles of oil that had collected one way or another and called up a couple of my friends, and I said, I need your help. I will do anything. And so they gave me a list of things to use for digestive support, intestinal support, lymphatic and liver support. And I found supplements like Juvitone, Comfortone, was Life 5 probiotic at the time, Digize essential oil. Now we would have Digize Vitality also. And the gaps that I had been finding that had been giving me so much fear and worry began to fill in. I began to have a lot more confidence as a mom in taking care of my family. Anybody else? Daddies too. Daddies too, you're right. My husband actually will now remember to pull the oils out usually before I do. Because I tend to go 0 to like really fast and just be standing there with my eyes bulging, and he says like the mom smile, you know? Right? And he goes to the oil rack and pulls out the oils. He knows. So daddies too. But we were so incredibly thankful for what we found, which was peace of mind. We talk so much about freedom in this company. Freedom, health and wellness freedom, financial freedom, time freedom. For me, I also found freedom from fear because I knew I now had what I needed to take care of my family on a daily basis. But here's the thing, and the reason I'm standing here talking to you today. I'm sure you all know this by now, but we live in a really toxic world. Yes, definitely feel free to take pictures. Newborn cord blood samples in the United States have been found to contain nearly 300 industrial chemicals and pollutants. And the reason that number is as low as it is, not that it seems like a low number, but the reason it's as low as it is because it costs so much to test for individual chemicals. And you don't have a lot of companies lining up to be like, hey, let me help pay for you to find out that what I'm making is getting into your newborn's cord blood. The placenta was once believed to protect infants in the womb from this, but it doesn't. Those precious babies in their mama's bellies are not protected by the placenta from these harsh chemicals and pollutants. There are tens of thousands of synthetic chemicals being used in the United States, which have not been studied for their danger to humans. Now, please do follow up with these sources that are cited. Notice that some of this was from over 10 years ago. And we're not talking less chemicals, like, oh, that was 10 years ago. Sorry, there's my earring that you wanted me to take out. else like, I don't want to take out my earrings? Anybody else like, I'm not whole without my earrings in? Anyway, I know, I'm silly. But if you follow this, the tens of thousands, go down and follow that source that is cited, you'll see the reason why we have all of these chemicals out there and kind of unaccounted for. There was a bill, an act, I don't know the title. I'm not as green as I used to be because I'm just too busy momming. But it was like a safe chemicals type act. I have some friends here I see in the audience that would be like, it was this and it was passed on this day, and they would totally know. But you got me, sorry. So the day that this was passed, something like 65,000 chemicals were immediately labeled safe, go on about your business, and never tested. That's why. Also, the air within most homes is more polluted than the outdoor air in the largest, most industrialized cities. And I'm sure some of you already knew that. My children can relate to this. Living in Alaska, they believe it's like the cleanest, freshest air in the whole world. We travel back and forth between Alaska and the lower 48 a lot. Like sometimes I feel like we live on airplanes. And they love to travel, but every time we get back to Alaska and we get off the plane, they're like, hey, it's so good to be back where we can breathe because the air feels so much cleaner here. And you guys, they haven't even been to some of our largest, most industrialized cities. We're talking like we fly into Omaha, Nebraska. You know? Omaha's wonderful. But it's not one of our largest, most industrialized cities. So take a truly large industrialized city and then think about the air in our homes. Kind of scary. Here's why this is such a big deal. First of all, children's exposure to toxins is greater pound for pound than that of adults. And a simple illustration of that is if I were to stand up here and we're going to pretend I'm strong enough to hold like a 100-pound dumbbell in each arm, which obviously you can see I could totally do that. But if I could, and then I took and I handed it to my little 4-year-old, he would just crumble under the weight of those, right? I mean, they would just immediately drop. And that's what it's like in this case. His exposure to the same amount of whatever harsh chemical we're talking about is going to be far greater pound for pound than mine. And the reason that's such a big deal is because children are amongst the most susceptible to the effects of those harsh chemicals because of time spent indoors, and they're still developing bodies. The systems in their bodies that are meant to detox and excrete pollutants, they're not even mature and fully functioning yet. So we are exposing them to this toxic soup, and their bodies aren't ready to deal with it. On top of that, their immature blood-brain barrier also allows greater exposure. That's really something to think about, isn't it? Okay, everybody else, this is my last session, up until now has been ready to play, willing to play along. So I'm going to do a little something with you guys. I hope that you will participate. If you are a mama or a daddy, could you please stand up? Thank you. If you are, that's almost all of you, if you're a teacher and not standing yet, or a child care provider, Sunday school teacher, a nurse, a doctor, you babysit sometimes for a family member or your neighbor, or you simply have children within your sphere that you know and are around, could you please stand up? Thank you. If anybody didn't stand, I forgive you. I know you know a kid or two. But here's the thing, guys. You are the gatekeepers. I ran into a few people a few different times in the hallways during convention, and they were like, oh, I wish I could come see you, but I don't have kids. Which is fine. They don't have to come see me, but I was like, oh, honey, then you really need to come. Because this is a responsibility that falls on all of our shoulders. We have the tools at our fingertips to do something about what's going on. Yes, please sit. I'm sorry. Please sit. Thank you. Just wanted to illustrate to you. Think of the number of children that we can help just by us in this room doing something. So whether we're talking about your own home or daycare, or you sharing with those within your circle, this is a big deal. We don't get to have these tools at our fingertips and just decide, well, it's not my problem. Not my problem, not my circus, not my monkeys. People love to say that so much, and sometimes it applies. In this case, it does not. So I'm going to give you a simple action plan to go ahead and get going with. Sorry, I'm crunching on my lozenge here. I don't know if you guys are hearing that or not. I'll try to not do that. Here's your action plan. Whoops, there's limit exposure by ridding homes, schools, daycares, really anywhere you've got children. Ridding all of those places of harsh chemicals and therefore limiting their exposure. Well, I said limiting their exposure. We're going to replace toxic products with safe, effective alternatives. We will talk about some of those today. And then we are going to give children's bodies tools they can use to maintain vibrant wellness. Now, one thing that I can tell you, and I kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier, is that the greatest gift I have found with Young Living is freedom from fear, really just peace of mind, with knowing that I have what I need at my disposal. We don't have all the junk in our house anymore. Our home is like this lovely, safe haven for our children. If you want to know more about all of the stuff they're being exposed to in their environments, please go home and do that research. I'm ready to talk solutions with you. So, let's start by looking at the Kids Sense line. Now, the first thing that I want to say to you, and I'm going to take my earring off because I know it's clicking and really bugging you guys. Sorry, I'll do this for a second. Okay, now it won't click anymore. The Kids Sense line is amazing, but it has only been around since about 2015, if I remember right. I think it was Dallas Convention. And we mamas, we've been oiling our kids for a lot longer than that. So if you don't have the Kids Sense line in your home, you should get it. But that doesn't mean you can't go home and immediately start oiling. The oils in these blends are so well thought out and really have been some of the first singles that I would reach for in caring for my children. And I love that they've made it really, really easy for new oilers to get started, for children to learn, and for us as mamas, no matter how much we know, to just be like, that's one right there that I can just grab because the label's a little different. We just know. We know it's ready to go for our children. And when children can see that these labels are a little bit different, they're able to identify them really quickly. The first thing to remember is we want to be safe with our oils. We don't want to get them in the eyes or put them directly in the ears. Dilution is a good idea. These have already got a little bit of that going on. You can do more if you'd like. Bottoms of the feet are a good place to start. I also really encourage you to line up your oils for your children and let them choose. We do not give our children credit for how much they know about what they need. They may not be able to say it, but so many times if you let them inhale some of the oils and choose, and then ask them, where would you like this oil applied? How would you like to use it? They know. And it's an incredible bonding experience for you and the children in your care as well. I have a 4-year-old. He's here somewhere. He might even be out in the hallway running around. He is like a redheaded tornado. He never stops, ever. But he will for essential oils. He will. So if you have little ones that you're like, oh, I just wish they would snuggle me a little bit, or I could spend some quiet time with them, whatever it might be, pull out your oils. Let's just look at these really quickly. Tummy Jize is one of our favorite for the belly. This is a quieting blend formulated with soothing oils such as spearmint and fennel and ginger. How many of you love Digize? Yeah, so I think of Tummy Jize as like Digize's little brother or sister, a little bit gentler, a little bit calmer, low-key. But this is a really great one to put on the belly or the feet, even to diffuse. So many times when we see, oh, Tummy Jize, it's got to go on the belly. Not necessarily. They can just diffuse or inhale this one, and so can you. We have people of all ages using the Kids Sense line. We're all kids at heart, right? Sleepy Eyes is wonderful for diffusing or applying at bedtime or really any time. It doesn't have to be bedtime. Anytime you need to just kind of tone things down a little bit. This one has lavender, sacred frankincense, valerian, others, including Roman chamomile. How many of you have gotten your Roman chamomile this month? Okay, so you need to be on Essential Rewards, you're gonna get your Roman chamomile, and then you're gonna place your second order, your quick order, to get it again, right? I have an incredible video of my son that I don't share a lot because I'm funny as a mom about sharing my children all over the place, but where he was just really struggling to latch on when he was a baby, and Roman chamomile was like his favorite thing to inhale during that time. Need some Roman chamomile? It's totally, you are fine. But it's one of our favorites. I wish I had some up here. I do have some back in my room. Sniffles, I absolutely love this blend because when I tell you that these blends are made up with oils that I would reach for anyway, this one is especially so. So this one has many, but it includes eucalyptus blue, palo santo, dorado azul, myrtle, and cypress. Truly, if I'm going to diffuse something when my children sleep, or we're going to make a chest rub, or for their feet, or whatever, these are the oils I would reach for anyway. So if you want to save yourself some time, or you're like in a panic and you don't know, or whatever, you're tired, it's the middle of the night, reach for the Sniffles. Owie is my almost 7-year-old's favorite. She shares this one all over the place. It's like she might not even know what's up with you, but you need Owie. And what I love about this blend is that not only is it so soothing and wonderful for the skin, it's comforting for a child and for the mom or dad or caregiver who's applying it. Pardon me. This one contains oils that are so good for the skin, like tea tree, elemi is back. Elemi was one of the first oils that I would rub all over my face. I had heard it was poor man's frankincense and excellent for the skin. So it was one of the very first oils that I used all over my face in my skincare regimen. Absolutely adore it. So I'm so excited about it. But it is in Owie, Cistus, and all kinds of others. I want to talk to you for a minute. I mentioned my 6-year-old who shares oils all over the place, like all over the place, all over the place. We have people on our team because of that child. We do. We actually were, this is one of my favorites. We were in Kauai a few years back, and this was like, I think we had just hit diamond, maybe, and it was like, we're gonna take a vacation. I'm going to get off my phone and computer and really focus, because at the time I struggled with that. I don't so much anymore. I'm a little bit better about knowing when it's time to work and time to leave the office and be a mom, but I had struggled with that. So this was put my phone down time and play. And my husband came up to the room from the pool and said, hey, there's a lady down at the pool. She wants to talk to you about oils. And I said, babe, I am on vacation. Don't you remember? Like, we came over here so I wouldn't do that. And he said, well, Ellie's down at the pool, and she's been telling this mom and her little girls about oils, and so the mom wants to talk to you. And she joined our team, poolside. But listen, here's the deal. And I hope that nobody is afraid to share anymore after our past couple of days with Eric Worre and with Mel. But listen, what is up with the fact that we're so afraid to share oils with other people and what they might think or say? Anybody struggle with that? Because I do still. So it's okay. You can raise your hands. I see a few of you are like this. It's okay. Kids aren't. They're not afraid. They don't even know what salesy means. They just know they've got something that their friends or anybody they run into, because our little Ellie, like everybody is her new. Should we go to the airport? We will be at the gate talking to people while we're waiting to get on our plane. And when we get up to leave, like however many people are filling up the gate, we'll be like, bye, Ellie. The other day, she told some lady from England, she sat talking to her over tea, like somewhere the lady had found an actual teacup and was having her tea. And Ellie was like, bye, new friend. I'll probably never see you again, but it was so good to be your friend. You know, everybody's her friend. And she will not hesitate to tell you, oh, hey, you need some thieves or some RC or what you need. And she'll just tell you what you need. She does not even think that somebody might not be just thankful and grateful and happy that she shared. What if we could share like that? I know this is spoiler kids, and I'm going to get back to talking about what we're talking about, but this is part of it. Because we have a responsibility to share what we have at our fingertips with others. And if they're not thankful and grateful, okay, I bet they will be someday. And if they never are, okay, keep sharing. Okay, you all know, most of you in this room have I don't have anything to gain from whether you share or not. I'm just telling you, you need to. We don't get to choose when we have a gift like this. All right, Genius. This is a mama favorite on our team. When Valor was out for a long time, many mamas on our team, at least, were turning to Genius. This one has oils in it like sacred frankincense, myrrh, cedarwood, vetiver, royal Hawaiian sandalwood, ylang-ylang, and rose. This is priceless. We put it on the back of the neck. We love to diffuse during school time, really any time, because I think it smells amazing, earthy, and wonderful. I love those oils of ancient scriptures by now, just so you know. I love them. Also, do take note that Genius and Sleepy Eyes are in the Reconnect collection, which I believe everybody needs to have in their home. So look into that one as well. All right, next we are going to go into our bathrooms, and even those items we've picked up in the grocery store that said natural on the label probably aren't so much. Probably still some stuff in there, and we can feel a little more comfortable with our KidSense Kid Care line. Tender Tush is one of our absolute favorites. If you are a cloth diapering mom, the Seedlings diaper cream ointment and the Tender Tush ointment, balm, we have had no issues with those coating cloth diapers and making them so they won't absorb. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just ignore that comment. But if you do know what I'm talking about, then it's very important to you, right? So we love both of those. We will use them for anything skin. I love the smell of Tender Tush, love it. And we have people of all ages who use this entire line, really, on their skin. If you have anyone who has more sensitive skin, delicate skin, doesn't love strong scents, you know, like I adore my lavender mitt shampoo, but there are even some adults that are like, woo, that's a little strong for me. Maybe forever, maybe just right now, whatnot, but we have adults who will use the KidSense line because these products have such a nice light scent. KidSense Sleek Toothpaste uses Thieves and Sleek Essence blend to help to protect the teeth and clean the teeth without fluoride. Woo, yeah, that's okay. I will not get on my fluoride soapbox. I don't have time to do it, but if you do not understand why you should not have fluoride in your toothpaste, please go home and do your research. Go home and do your research. And that's all I'll say. But we love it. The KidSense bath gel and shampoo are formulated without all the perfumes and the harsh chemicals. They contain MSM. You guys know what MSM is, right? Organic form of sulfur, so good for so many things. But for the purposes of this presentation and these products, we'll just say so great for the hair, skin, and nails. So great. Also found in the KidSense lotion. The lotion, bath gel, shampoo, these have oils like lemon, chamomile, cedarwood, just very light, very calming, perfect for bath time, leading into bedtime, soothing mommy during that just before bedtime, crazy hour, right? And the lotion is wonderful for a pre-bedtime massage. Little ones love it. Please take the time to oil and bond with your children. They absolutely will adore that time, and they will remember it. Children remember scents. Even if they don't, they were too little to remember what exactly was happening at the time, they're going to smell that chamomile or that cedarwood or whatever it may have been down the road and just be like, this takes me back. This takes me back to my mom's smiling face or her gentle touch or home or feeling safe. Feeling calm, feeling loved, they will remember. And we won't get into all the why that is. It doesn't really matter. It's just good to know and good to do. Special way to bond. Now, how many of you got to see Alyssa's Thieves presentation while you were here? Good. We're not going to go super deep into the whole Thieves line because there was that other workshop. But obviously, if we want to continue on with our quest to rid our home of all those harsh chemicals, this is a wonderful way to do it. This is actually a photo of the Thieves Essential Rewards kit, the products in that kit. If you have not gotten rid of all of the soaps and the cleaners and all of that, and you're like, I don't know where to start, I'll tell you how to do it. You go to your kitchen and or bathroom cabinet, preferably both. If you got to get a broom handle to reach clear back to the back, whatever, but you just take a little trash bag and you go like this, boom, set it outside, and you order up this kit. When we moved into our house, we moved into a new house last fall. Well, new to us house. The previous owners had under the kitchen sink stashed and I had a picture somewhere, I couldn't find it, so full of garbage that I think they had been so generously applying to every nook and cranny of our home to make it clean for us. They couldn't even close the cabinet doors. There was that much in there. Now you will find Thieves hand purifier, Thieves refill for the hand soap, Thieves cleaner, a little vinegar maybe. That's kind of it. Thieves laundry soap in the laundry room, Thieves soap at all the sinks. It's just a really easy, simple way to take a huge step toward cleaning up your home. Now, as you know, Thieves is a powerful blend of cinnamon, clove, rosemary, eucalyptus, and lemon, and it's a member favorite, which is probably why we have a whole product line formulated with it. Gordon and I, we use it for everything. I love that I don't have to put locks on my cabinets, partly because I know the stuff in there is safe, and partly because I know that my kids aren't going to pull out the Thieves cleaner, because then I'll be like, oh, you've got the cleaner, awesome. This bathroom over here needs help. Because I don't have to worry about them messing with the cleaner, right? But I know that they're safe. We take Thieves hand purifier with us everywhere we go. It gets on our hands before we go into stores and church and wherever, and on our hands afterwards. We Thieves spray hotel rooms. I mean, we really should use Thieves spray probably in one of those foggers, because I walk in and it is just like, and if I forget, my husband will do it, and he'll do a better job than me. He will tear the beds apart and spray everything. So have Thieves with you everywhere. The Thieves cleaner now being in those little packets. Throw some of those in your luggage and take some spray bottles and foaming hand, little containers, bottles. I am not a DIY person, so whatever those little foaming things are. That's my big DIY. I throw some of the sample packet in and fill it with water, and woo, I'm a DIYer. But it makes travel really easy. It's really handy. So get Thieves into your routine, get the other stuff out, and you will have taken a big step. Now that we've gotten the junk out and the good stuff in, we are also going to fuel our children's bodies. And we're going to start with Mighty Zymes and Mighty Vites. Now, I will tell you that I searched for a number of years, high and low, for a children's multivitamin that was free of all the junk that I didn't want in there and had everything I wanted. It was there was always that one thing missing or that one thing still there. And so when I found Young Living's Mighty Vites, I was thrilled. And Mighty Zymes, you guys, I don't have time to talk about how incredibly important it is to supplement with enzymes. I will just tell you that our soils are deficient, therefore our foods are not what they need to be, therefore we are lacking in enzymes, and if you fill your body up with a bunch of stuff you think is amazing and you don't have the enzymes to use it, you're wasting your time and probably your money and doing yourself and your children a disservice. You understand? You're what? Oh, okay. We call them Mighty Vites. That's fun, though. Super fun. But every single morning, my children come to me. They're extremely non-morning person, introvert mama who has a big bubble, and of course, my children don't. So they just come flocking, and I get these hugs, and mommy, 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 and it's morning breath and touching that I'm not ready for, And so I have found a solution. I just say, oh, you guys, I love you, and thank you for the hugs. And then I say, everybody down to the Berkey and fill your glass of water and get your lemon Vitality. Have a big old drink along with your Life 9 and your Mighty Zymes, or some of our older ones now take Essential Zyme. And they just think, my mommy loves me so much, she's taking care of me, and mommy gets a little bit of time to valor up and get ready for the day. But your children can learn this at a young age. Mine already know how to do their morning routine, their getting up routine, and they know at breakfast to grab their Mighty Vites and their Super C and their Ninja Juice. I'm so thankful to have these things in our daily routine that are treats to them. Okay, Ninja Red is a whole body supplement featuring the Ninja Wolfberry. If you were not able to see, hopefully you can still get into the expo and see the bottles of Ninja Red if you haven't had Ninja Red in your household in bottles yet, and the whole berry puree that's in there. A third to half a bottle sometimes. Antioxidants, fruit juices that are not just there as fillers, like they are there for a reason, and essential oils. I used to not have this as part of our daily routine because I didn't think we could afford it until I realized we couldn't afford not to. It needed to be there. So our whole family takes this every single day. One quick tip that I have for you that I discovered several years ago when I was pregnant and could not stomach much of anything, I started making Thieves Popsicles Thieves Popsicles, Ninja Red Popsicles. You could make some Thieves Popsicles, that'd be pretty strong. To have fresh breath. Anyway, I would take the packets and shake them up and lay them on their sides in the freezer and just cut off the top a few hours later and have a popsicle. And that's what my children do in the summertime now when all their friends are running around with those nasty food coloring filled ick bombs. They have these instead. Of course, then their friends want some, so we ninja the whole neighborhood. But we're so thankful for it. I have shared in one or two of my other sessions the fact that, first of all, when I was asked to speak on this topic, I was fine. I was like, sure, I'll do it. I can do it. But I really there are a lot of other topics I like to speak on. And I hadn't really talked a lot about this particular topic for a while. And I had this slide kind of thrown in and already done. My deadline for the day to have everything done and handed in was actually the day of Gary's funeral. We had been on the road for several weeks and were totally jet lagged and emotional anyway. And then we bawled our way through his funeral on TV. And I did not want to, I was like, I don't want to work on this. Nobody at corporate's going to be watching to see whether I handed in anyway, right? But I sat down to do it because I'm a rule follower and I had said I would hand it in that day. And this partially finished slide was the first slide that popped up. And I just had kind of a breakdown. And then this incredible moment where I was like, Lord, thank you for bringing me back to why I started this in the first place. It was for my kids. And it will continue to be for my kids and for your children. I will speak on whatever I'm asked to speak on. I'll teach on whatever people need me to teach on. Because that's why I'm passionate about it. It's for you guys and your children. So the first slide that I completed that day was this one. Our family loves to start our day with Gary's Great Day Protocol. We put valor on our neck and wrists and harmony on our abdomen and joy over our hearts and white angelica. We love to add scripture and prayer with each oil. You make it yours. Make it your routine. Get up 5 minutes early if you have to and oil with your kids before you move on with your day, because it's always a great day for a great day. And this really helps to get you off on the right track. Now, we have hardly any time left. I want to remind you, I love Fixer Upper, and this is how I've been illustrating it in my own brain. If Joe and Chip walk into a house and it's got rusty pipes and it's moldy and there are critters in the walls and all this junk going on, and they're like, well, hey, that's okay. We'll shiplap over it and we'll paint and we'll replace the flooring and we'll hang some cool stuff and it'll look good. You've got a good-looking house that's full of mold and mildew and roaches and rust. You need to make sure that you are supporting things like your digestive system, liver, lymphatic system, or you're gonna have the same thing going on in your body. So we do that with the Juva line and things like Comfortone and Life 9 and Digest and some of those that I mentioned earlier. Please do not leave that part out. I polled my team. I am like 3 seconds, so if you need to go, please go. These are just for you to take pictures of. I polled my team and asked them, what are your top 10 that you must have taken care for your kids? I actually did this in 2 different groups that I have, and their top 10s were almost exactly the same, save 2, so I made it a top 12. But these are the ones they said they had to have to take care of their kids on a daily basis. And finally, this is what they said they had to have in order for them to be able to take care of their kids on a daily basis. Notice the savvy in there? Nobody wants to look at a tired face in the mirror. That was literally number 2. They gotta have their savvy to take care of their kids and have a great day. Great day protocol, put your savvy on, right? So those are their top 5. The funny story with Stress Away is my son was sorting oils for me last time that we moved and told his dad, he smelled it and said, this is like the smell of car rides with mom. I thought that was the funniest thing, but so true. So true. You guys, it has been such a privilege to speak to you this convention. I was scared out of my mind. My friend Angela told me from day one what Mel was talking about today. You're not nervous, you're excited. And I thought she was crazy, but it worked. You guys are such a gift. Please, as you leave, encourage one another. Take this journey one step at a time. It doesn't have to happen all at once. Please be encouraged and know that I'm just a mom talking to you and we can do this together. I am thankful that you're here and I'm proud of you. And I will see you next July. Thanks.